Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Photoshop Elements Custom Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in with today's poster. I wanted to take this nice family hugging photo here, and everything's perfect except for one thing. What is that? It's this hand. It's just too darn big. So basically it's just bowing because it's closer to the camera than anything else. So let's go ahead and make it smaller. What we're going to do is we're going to cut this hand out, resize it, and then use the stamp tool to restamp the shirt underneath that hand in a separate layer. So let's first get the lasso tool, and down here under the lasso you got two choices. One is a polygon, which does it like point to point to point to point using the left mouse button, but we don't want that. We're just going to draw this by hand to cut the hand out with the regular lasso. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to keep some of this arm here next to the shoulder so that I can kind of merge the whole piece in. I'm just going to draw all this out like this, and then I'll just cut in a little closer here to cut out the child's head and hair. Come over to the hand here, and we'll kind of refine it a little bit more. So as soon as I get to here, I can let go. The marching ants closes the loop on the lasso, and all I have to do is right click and hit layer via copy, and watch up here, it's going to make a new layer. Ready? Boom, it just made a new layer here. So I can turn off the back layer, and we got that top layer. Now let's go ahead and refine this a little bit by cutting out the background here, and we can fuzz out the rest of it. So I'm going to get in close with the eraser, a brush, which is the soft eraser. Right now it's defaulted the size at 100 point. That's way too big. I'm going to make that like 10 points, and this is a lot better. So I can cut really close here with the eraser. And the reason I use a soft eraser is because when you look at photos like this, when I zoom in, you see they're not very sharp. They're pretty soft to begin with. So I'm just cutting out the background there. And once I get that done, I'm just going to come back out, grab the lasso tool, and I could just lasso it out by hand like this. And if this is hard to do for you, then use the polygon tool so you do it like step by step. I'll hit delete to delete that. And now down here, all this stuff, we're going to try to use some of the original background. So I'm just going to fuzz this out so that it dissolves better with the original. I'll take the eraser again, and that's too small. Let's go back up to 100 points. That looks pretty good. I'm going to tap it there, bring it down. Now it's getting close to the hand, so I'm going to use something a little bit smaller. Make that a 50 point soft brush, and come down like this. Now down here where it gets dark, we don't want that dark to meld too much of the photo, so I'm going to make this half of that, 25 point, to make the eraser nice and small and make sure I get all of this darkness out. When I get close to the fingers, I might even go to like a 15 point and make sure I cut out the fingers because the poster didn't want any of the darkness to be included. And I'll just cut this out like that. Once I get back down here, I can open it up a little bit. I'll go to 25 point, and I can actually go to like 50 points. So I'm just making the eraser smaller or bigger, depending on where I'm at in the photo. And as soon as I get over to this part here, I'm going to make the size into like a 75 point and erase all this right here. And that's pretty much it for resizing. Now we can turn that background back on and then choose that top layer, choose the grabber tool, and let's go ahead and resize it by grabbing one of these squares around it. I can grab this bottom right one right here. So let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's say this looks good right around there. It's significantly smaller there. But now you see up here it's not matching with the shoulder and everything changes a little bit. So I'm going to take the circular and bring it up a little bit like that. I'll hit OK, and then just reposition it down here exactly where we want it, which is out of the way of the rest of the photo. Now all we got to do is put a layer in between this top hand and the bottom hand, which is the background, and we'll just fill in that layer using the stamp tool. So up here, we choose the bottom layer, and then make a new layer in between the two by hitting the layer button right here. And now we got a new blank layer. And that way we can adjust the stamp accordingly and erase portions if we need to. Choose the stamp, and let's choose the size of the stamp. For down here, we can use something big like 100 points. So I'm going to hit the Alt, and I'm going to choose something. I need to find an area that's nice and open so that I don't start getting into other portions on the sides. So if I start like down here, like that, I can come up here and try to match those dots kind of right around here and watch what happens when I fill it in. The dots don't have to be perfect. They don't have to line up exactly perfect. And if I make a mistake, like see that, I'm getting part of the shirt down here. All I have to do is grab the eraser and erase that. And the reason I can do that is because it's on its own layer up here. Let's go ahead and grab the stamp again, and let's continue and come over to the right side here and grab one of these by hitting the Alt and left mouse button. Align up the dots right around there, and look at that. It's working pretty good, and I'll keep going until I start seeing portions that don't work. Like I said, the dots don't have to match perfectly because no one's going to really know the difference. So as we zoom out, we take a look at our end product there, and it's looking pretty good. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now if I marry the top two layers, I'll hit right click on layer 1 and merge down. I can now toggle the whole photo and show you the before and after. Before and after. And that's looking pretty good. Well, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Rich calling it quits, saying over and out.